Here we go. No.
It says it's live streamed.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So I got a different.
Yep, it says it's live stream.
Okay, that's
You're now
funny.
streaming live on Facebook.
Good. Gave
No.
me another error. So, all right.
Hey, Judy.
Here it is.
Hi.
We'll just start then. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last session of interviews for candidate interviews for a CPA grant. My name is Karen Lee, and I'm the administrative consultant for the committee. Our meetings are live on Facebook and recorded for viewing later. Public comments on any CPA projects that you want to let us know are accepted until April 30th. You can mail them to Community Preservation Committee, City Hall, 36 Court Street, Springfield 01103, or email to cpc@springfieldcityhall.com. We'll continue to meet remotely until further notice. You'll see the agenda in front of you, and I'm going to stop sharing now and turn the meeting over to our chair, Bob McCarroll. Thank you for everyone for joining us.
Well, thank you, Karen, and welcome everyone. Joining us tonight are Conservation Commission Representative Juanita Martinez, Neighborhood Representative Rhonda Sherrill, Historical Commission Representative Judith Crowell, Park Commission Representative Clinton Harris, our Housing Authority Representative Willie Harris. Willie Thomas will not be here tonight, but we are expecting a couple of other committee members. So this is the third of 3 meetings that we have had with applicants for CPA funding this year. This has been the biggest funding cycle in terms of the number of submissions that we've had since the very beginning of CPA back in 2018. We have more than 30 applicants asking for more than $6 million. We expect to have about $2.5 million that we can recommend. So obviously not every project will be recommended. The process that we have is we will meet next in 2 weeks to start our own internal deliberations regarding projects. And then we will start voting in May on actual recommended projects to send to City Council. I am hopeful that we will have our recommendations finished by early June so that Council has the option of taking them up before they go on their abbreviated summer schedule. Whatever project City Council then approves, the law department draws up contracts and we move forward. I noticed that some of the applicants today have very ambitious timelines with their projects that may be starting before we are finished with the process, meaning council approval and contract signature. So just be aware that any work done before there is a signed contract is not eligible for CPA funding. So you may want to adjust your timelines accordingly. So that being said, we will start with tonight's 5 minutes presentations. They are timed. Juanita Martinez is the timer. She will give you a 1-minute warning and then a stop. When you're told to stop, please finish your sentence. And we will then ask questions. There could be none, there could be 10. Please confine your answers to the question asked and not what you didn't get to say during your presentation. So with that being said, the first presentation tonight is the McKnight Common Areas Planning and Implementation Project. So David, you're muted.
I muted everyone.
Oh,
Okay. Uh,
David, now you're muted again.
can you hear me now?
yes.
Okay, so I think you unmuted me and I muted myself.
Okay, do you want a slideshow for this presentation?
Can you put some of those the pictures that we sent in? I think the one of the view of St. James Avenue is the only
You
one.
just, okay, so you just sent me several PDFs,
Yes.
which,
On the
Uh,
one that I would like to speak on is for my original sentence, the original proposal, I believe I included a PDF of the 1939 picture of St. James Avenue.
Okay, I'm gonna start now since you're,
Okay, let's
okay,
start now.
I think this is the one you're looking for.
I think his name is St. James 217, I believe. So let me, while you're working on that,
Is that it? No,
that's good enough. That's
okay.
good enough. Okay, this is not St. James Avenue, but I'll use this as a um, place to speak from. Part of the material I submitted was a picture of St. James Avenue showing Thompson Triangle and the Faith Baptist Church, which was at that time the Parker Congregational Church on the corner of St. James and Clarendon.
I got it so they can't see.
I sent that in because we have in that picture a traffic light, which is called a dummy, which is a version of which is illustrated here, as well as several street lights. McKnight has never partaken of anything but the new modern street lights in the recent past. And what we're suggesting with this application is that as we have focused on the restoration and preservation of many of the historic buildings in McKnight, and we have maybe 900 of them in the National Register District, we have not focused this in the same way on the common areas. The common areas, not just the parks, but the parks and streets and everything that surrounds the historic buildings are all part of what has been designated as a historic district by National Park Service. What we're suggesting in this application is that we would like to first develop a plan based on the planning that was done last year, which took us to a certain point. We understand that people would like less traffic. We understand that there's an interest in enlarging the local historic district. What we haven't said is what streetlights need to be preserved, what street signs need to be preserved, which ones need to be restored if we'd like to see that happen. And to, in effect, create an overall plan that would encompass the street furniture and the street designs, as well as the parks, so that they complete a total strategy for preservation of McKnight. A similar kind of strategic plan was created and implemented many years ago on Mattoon Street. We hope to be able to do something like that, but right here what we're proposing is a planning process that would allow a professional planning consultant, Goody Clancy, to come in and create the shovel-ready plan based on the conceptual plans that have been planning that's been done, and then do two things. First, implement the beginning of a preservation strategy by restoring the dumping light at St. James Avenue and Worthington Street and Dartmouth Street, restoring a few of the street signs and a few of the traffic lights, a few of the street lights. And then in addition, stabilizing the two buildings that we are planning to use as part of our ongoing City of Homes interpretive history program, so that we are emphasizing for people in the community and people visiting and people in the metropolitan area at large that
2 more minutes.
this is a historic district that, thank you, that is significant. It was one of the key the key elements that help build all of the Springfield's golden age neighborhoods to create the city of homes. And that our common areas can be part of what enriches our community so that we have a stable, preserved community going into the next generations. I think that's where I can end.
Okay, all right. So David, I have a couple of questions and then we'll see if other committee members have questions. In your outline of the planning project, you've got the Springfield DPW for $10,000. What
Yes.
is their role going to be in this?
I see them as being very key in terms of helping with the, not just planning, but the implementation of temporary traffic changes and evaluation of impacts. In other words, if you make a change in the street, that traffic is typically displaced somewhere else. And their personnel oftentimes and typically is involved in setting up traffic counters and evaluating all of that sort of thing in conjunction with the planning consultant. I know that's been done in the past. I have not had the opportunity to speak with the director of public DPW about that, or the typical or the programmatic breakdown.
Okay. Any other questions of committee members? Rhonda? You're muted, Rhonda.
Okay, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yes, you
Yes,
can.
now.
Okay, thank you. I just was a little confused. I wanted to understand, you said about the common areas, correct?
Right.
Okay, then you mentioned Worthington, Dartmouth Street. Are you saying that you want some type of updated signs or traffic light?
We're saying that as we move forward with the historic district, and people are trying to keep their houses in a sense preserved as they were in 1888 or 1892 or 1911, that what we're ending up with is the impulse of our transportation people is, let's give them some brand new green reflective signs. We're suggesting that the green reflective new signs are not really supportive of keeping the houses old in their original character and state, and that there should be a plan so that the common area surrounding the houses, which includes the streets and the parks, should be in keeping with and support what people are doing. In other words, people might have invested $20 or $30 million in the past few years restoring houses to being Victorian, but yet we have a plan which doesn't really say what we're going to do in front of those houses to support that whole effort. So we're trying to make it all go together, Rhonda.
Okay, all right, because I was a little confused. All right, thank you.
Sure.
Any other
I have a question. I don't see that you have any other funding because the total project is 350,000, but you don't have any other funding
We're going
source.
to be asking for $25,000 from the investor from the condominium association with the Kibbe House, and $100,000 from the Massachusetts Preservation Projects Fund.
But you don't have that now.
We don't have that now. In fact, we've just received endorsement for this request from the Historical Commission, and we'll be there at the next meeting working with them on the Preservation Project Fund. We do have the $25,000 programmed in for the condominium association.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
David, on the Massachusetts Preservation Project Fund, did you put in an application by the mid-March deadline?
No, we're doing an emergency.
Oh, okay. I have a question.
I could gladly bring in some pictures of rotted studs and things to show you why it's an emergency.
Yeah, okay. I have another question then on the in the budget are 8 streetlights at Thompson Triangle. Are these
Yes.
internal of the park, or are these along
No.
the edges of the park?
No, we're assuming that the ones on the interior of the park, even though they're not particularly original, are
Yeah.
staying. They're in keeping with our people's interests.
Yeah.
We're talking about the ones along Worthington Street and St. James Avenue that shine on the street,
Okay,
which if you look at the original picture from St. James Avenue, you'll see there were bishops, what they call bishop crooks, electric lights. I sent Karen a printout of, or a PDF of lights in New York, and there's several illustrated that were used in New York that are similar to the ones shown on St. James Avenue, which I personally remember. Old green lights with a carved base or a cast iron base. But those wouldn't be inside the park, they'd be along the street.
I see. Okay. Yeah, and I guess back to DPW, given that the traffic light, the street signs, and the street lights all fall in their purview, it would be really good that we have something that says that you've talked to them and they're supportive of doing this.
I would be happy, can provide, if I didn't already, by morning, I can provide you with a copy of what we sent to them, and we're working with them right now. Apparently, Mr. Signoli's asked to have a meeting.
Yeah, okay.
And,
Well,
we'll be
getting something
working with
from them is probably important. You know, just like if you were asking to fix up a park, we'd ask for a letter from the Park Commission,
Absolutely.
which controls the space. In this case, you're asking to deal with things that are under the control of the Department of Public Works. And it would be helpful to have something that says, yeah, they were aware of this and they think it's a good idea.
I think
Okay.
I understand.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions from committee members? Hearing none, seeing no hands up, we'll go to the next presentation, which is the Frederick Stebbins House Preservation Project.
Okay. I think I'm nominated to present this.
Okay.
Frederick Stebbins was one of the relatively many members of the Stebbins family. Other members had the Stebbins Villa on Ames Hill, and
Yep.
Stebbins House in Deerfield. They're actually members of the family were abducted by the Indians as part of the King Philip's War, and then later came back. And they're amongst our people in our metropolitan community now. However, this particular house was built in 1911 for Frederick Stebbins, and has now had is just finishing housing its second family, and is extremely well preserved. I sent with the original presentation some photographs of the level of preservation, and it's designed by Guy Kirkham, who, as you may know, was also the architect of Commerce High School and Mass Mutual and a number of homes in the area, and retains its preservation even up to and including the original stove in the kitchen, the servants call system or annunciator, and buttons, and the lighting fixtures. We are trying to get resources so that we can preserve this, either by taking title to it through the bank. The owner has already donated his interests to the corporation, conditional on us getting enough money to pay off the liens. So that's what we're seeking here, that and or funds so that we can preserve the interior. I'm not, I know I've sent down a lot of pictures. I'd be happy to supply more if that's important. I think that there are two other things that are worthy of note. The first, There we go. The first is that,
Dave,
Yes.
I don't know what you're looking for, so unless you tell me, I can't like pull it
Okay,
up, so I'm guessing.
if I click on it, it doesn't matter. You have to click on it. The picture of the house, the third one there, in the top, the black and white 1939, well, the 1939 picture, not the sec, that's the back of the house where your arrow is, that one there. This is still very much what the house is right now today. We're
2 minutes left.
attempting to essentially create a permanent preserved house that can be part of what we're preserving for our future generations, and we have the opportunity to do that right now. We're hoping that we can get the support of the committee and the city. I guess that's as much as I can say. As you can all see, there's the bathrooms, the light fixtures, the fireplaces, everything is original. We also have parts of the library that are from the original family's books, and some of which they wrote in, and we would like to see this as part of our City of Homes Museum, whether we can, and using the inside as well as the outside as part of our interpretation of McKnight and Springfield's golden age. I think that's
it.
as far as I can go.
Okay. So David, I have a question. I mean, your budget is what you're asking for and what you have. There's no indication of what the mortgage or the debt that you're
The debt
asking
is
money for. So how much is
this 340,000.
the debt on the house is 340,000?
Right. We've already got a donation of the owner's interest, but we would have to bridge whatever your whatever support you can provide with the bank. We have also asked the bank for some help, but we haven't heard back from them.
And I don't recall seeing anything in this application that is indeed the owner's interest. I mean, so we have nothing in here unless I missed it.
I think I might not have sent it. I can send that down.
Yeah.
Just the donation, the conditional donation.
Yes.
Yes, I can do that.
So, so I need to point out that Gloria DiFilippo has arrived. Gloria is a representative of the planning board, and Steve Bosworth is now with us. He is another neighborhood representative. So any other questions from committee members? Gloria?
David, I think I remember seeing a letter from the owner of the property who said she's conveying it to you for $1. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. It's
Subject to the debt.
subject to the debt.
Right.
Okay. Shouldn't that be more of a legal document?
That was just the preliminary document. There should be, in effect, a deed, which will be done as soon as we get everything, all the ducks in a row. That would be done.
Yeah. I mean, I saw in the application something that came from the owner of the Washburn Carriage House talking about deeding the carriage
Right.
house.
That's a different application.
Okay.
It doesn't-
I just
Doesn't have
have,
anything to do with this house.
Yeah. Okay.
There is a document. I'm not sure I sent it.
all right, I'm just confusing the two.
Yes, probably.
And so, David, just for curiosity, do you have a budget to maintain the house? I mean, maintaining a house as a house museum still
We
carries
have-
its
we have a
own
preliminary
annual
budget.
expenses.
We have a preliminary budget, and we're working with funding sources to see how that might be done. One of the things we've noticed is that while other communities have house museums, West Springfield even does, Springfield has none, despite being the city of homes. And we are talking with people about that. I do not at this point in time have anyone saying, here's my $100,000 a year, which is one of our fantasy budgets. It's not going to cost that to maintain, but it would cost that to maintain and operate a staff, maintain with a minimal staff. So we're looking at different options.
Okay. Any other questions of committee members? Steve?
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Dave, so the concept ultimately is to make this into a museum, right? Be a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. Has that been, has anything been done in that regard?
Organization has been created and is being covered by the CDC's 501c3 at this point.
Okay.
But yes, that is the general idea. And Bob's point about operating costs are something that we have our minds on. We don't want to be presiding over a falling down wreck. So we are looking at that as well. But we're looking at, the idea is that it would be good to have at least one house that people can go into as part of their tour experience.
And ultimately you would, yeah, right now you're looking for, exterior restoration funds. Ultimately your museum concept would involve, period rooms and things like that, presumably.
Yes. And we've already started working on recruiting appropriate furniture. In fact, we already have a donation of the Stebbins desk as part of the property, as well as the stove and the Stebbins collection of canning jars.
Thanks.
Yeah, so, but Steve, just to clarify, they're not asking for money for restoration of the building. They're asking money to, in a sense, purchase the building by paying off the existing debt on the building.
Mortgage, right?
This is, yes.
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
We are looking for help restoring other buildings, but not this one. The present owner has agreed to fix the steps and the roof, and that's as far as we've got.
Any other questions from committee members? All right, hearing none, we go on to the next presentation, which is 6971 Princeton Street Restoration Project.
And I'm going to present that for the College Streets Defense Fund. 6971 Princeton Street was a fine looking house, as you can see in the photograph. Unfortunately, I happened to, when I was little and lived 2 doors down the street from it, and it was one of my early places to visit for playing with friends. Unfortunately, there was a very bad fire. The Historical Commission has been asked for a waiver of the demolition. This is outside, there's the house as it appears now. The Historical Commission was asked for a waiver of the demolition delay. This is not in the local district, so there was no other jurisdiction. Neighbors in the College Streets area petitioned the commission not to approve the delay, and it was not the waiver, and it was not approved. The owners are saying through the representative that they would like to eventually demolish the house and install a modern duplex of a nice variety, but not of the same size. And that this will cost $100,000 less than restoring the existing house. We are asking, and we're asking in the form of a grant, but we're not dedicated to that without question, to assist in the restoration of the house so that it can be part of preservation of that side of the McKnight neighborhood. This part, for everybody who's not aware, was part of McKnight that was part of the original area that neighbors petitioned to be in the local district, but did not end up being included. So that there are, as we're finding, people that are still there who were involved in making it a historic district, but would like to see this retained and preserved as part of the ongoing effort to preserve that part of the neighborhood. That's all I can say about it at this point.
So David, is there anything from the owner of the property saying that they're interested in doing this? Because I mean,
There
this
is a
application
representation
not-
from their go ahead. A
No, I'm just saying
representation
that
from
this
their
is not
contract.
go on, David. Sorry.
Pardon me, there was a representation to the commission by their contractor that they would be interested. I then had a conversation. I'm waiting for a response. They're in California.
Yeah.
David, this is not actually historic, is it?
Excuse me?
Property is not actually deemed as historic?
It is deemed as historic. This is part of the McKnight National Register District, and I take offense at your question somewhat, although I appreciate the opportunity to make this clear. The McKnight neighborhood was developed as one neighborhood. When the historic district and when it was petitioned for, this is the core of where most of the support came from: Princeton Street, Yale Street, Dorchester Street. That's the core of the historic district socially. That's where the muscle was in what I saw, to say that, yes, we want to be a historic district. But then when it came down, and as there were concerns about the city thing getting past the city council and so forth, that area got left out. But it was no one that it wasn't historic. Now, if you go to the building department, because they have a limited understanding of preservation, and you have some contractor says, can I do this? They'll say, oh, that's not historic, because it's not in the little map that they were given by the city law department. But it really is historic, and it's an injustice that it has left this long, since it was designated National Register Historic in 1986, that it's almost, what, 30 years that we've been allowing this to go on. And right now, if you're in the McKnight neighborhood and you live on Yale Street, and you live on Cornell, on Monmouth Street, you don't have access to the things that everybody else in the community has access to. Just because people say that's not historic, it is historic.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your
Having grown
fire.
up on Yale Street.
Yeah.
I
And
appreciate your fire.
just once again to explain to folks that there are two different kinds of historic designation. All of the McKnight is in a district that's on the National Register of Historic Places. The western part of McKnight is a designated local historic district. In designated local historic districts, the local historical commission gets to review exterior work. In places that are on the National Register, but not in local districts, property owners do what they want with, as long as it's their money. If it happens to be federal money, then there's some oversight. But David, that gets us to another point. I don't remember seeing, is there the determination from the Springfield Historical Commission that this property is a contributing part of the McKnight National Register District?
I know I heard Al Nardi say it the other night. I don't know that they took a vote. Should we get them to take a vote?
Well, yeah, I mean, normally there is a form they give you that says, oh, it's an individual listing on the state register. No, it's a contributing part of.
I've used that form, contributing significant part. Yeah, we can get that.
Yeah, that would be good, because that would then.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yep, we can do that.
The pudding, because it's not me and it's not you, it's not any of us who gets to determine whether it's a contributing part of a district.
Right. I think I heard Al say he felt strongly that it was a contributing part, but I don't think I heard a vote.
Oh, well, then you need to go back to them and ask for an official determination, so we get that piece of paper.
I'll try to get that Thursday.
Okay.
Good idea. Thanks.
All right.
Okay.
Any other questions from committee members? All right, hearing none, we move on to the next presentation, which is restoration of 333 St. James Avenue. Who is presenting on that?
I saw AC Jones here earlier. There's
I'm
the,
here. I'm here, Dave.
So,
IC's here.
Mrs. Jones, can you speak to us on this request, please?
Yes, I have owned St. James since 1963. It's a beautiful house, beautiful structure. It's large rooms. It has a beautiful fireplace in the first floor, hardwood floors throughout the building. I'd like to preserve this home. It's stuck. The exterior is stucco. It has a sizable yard, and it would be quite a beautiful structure, and it would enhance the neighborhood. But because it's such a large structure, it's very costly to restore the building. And I'm asking if there are funds available. I am requesting that the committee, if the committee could consider approving funds to restore the structure. I did put in an application to the committee with the help of Dave Gateby, and he sees the value as well as myself, and I'm sure it's one of a kind, sort of on the street right in that section. And I'm hoping the committee would consider, because as long as I've owned the property, I've never received any funds to help keep the property up. And I do think it's a beautiful neighborhood. There's beautiful homes there. And I'd like to make my home one of the ones that will beautify the neighborhood.
Could I add a little bit?
Sure, within the 5 minutes.
Okay, we just passed a picture of the house next door. Mrs. Jones, that's at number 341 St. James, was a nice Queen Anne style house.
Let me hold this.
This is not in the area where the local historic district governs exterior changes, as described by Bob. And what happened next door is that changes that I wouldn't have done were carried out. Vinyl siding and itty bitty windows. And we would like to encourage both encourage and support Mrs. Jones and her family. Her daughter's talking about taking over the house if we can move forward with the renovation, but also to encourage the rest of people in the rest of the neighborhood to see that these houses are part of what we consider historic, and that there is ongoing interest in keeping the historic flavor going all the way down St. James Avenue, not just stopping on Harvard Street. So that house is next door is a case in point of what can happen if those of us concerned about preservation don't pay attention and take and make sure that we influence how things happen. That's my additional comment.
So I guess I have a question for Mrs. Jones. Is there debt on the house? And if there isn't debt, since you've owned it since 1963, why can't you take out a bank loan to help finance whatever has to be done?
Well, we are planning to take out a bank loan, but the amount that it's going to take to to renovate the property, we also need some help from the Preservation Committee. I understand this is what the committee is for. And these funds come into Springfield all the time. And many property owners do get help and renovating their properties from city funds. But in the whole history, since I've owned the property, have never received any help from the city.
Well, it would be helpful then if what you're saying is that besides this exterior work that you've asked CPA to fund, you are also spending money to fix the inside. It would be helpful to have a sense of what are you doing to the inside and how much that is costing. Because without any evidence that it's a much larger project than it is, it's difficult to decide whether CPA money should be involved. Do you have a budget for interior work as well?
Yes, I do.
Well, can you send that to us?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Any other questions? Oh, I want to acknowledge that Yolanda Consul, another one of our neighborhood representatives, is now with us. Any other committee members have questions? Gloria?
I just want to, the project for the exterior restoration is $150,000. Is that what you're looking for, Mrs. Jones?
Yes, that's what we're looking for.
And I'd
Okay.
like to clarify, is there still debt on the property as well, Miss Jones?
I'm sorry?
Do you still owe mortgage on that property?
There's the mortgage, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask, please, who put the budget together?
There's numerous contractors that we have consulted with that have given us an estimate on the renovation.
I particularly helped to write it down, but we did speak with numerous contractors.
Okay. Please understand, I'm asking questions. I see stucco repair and paintings. Repair stucco is needed, $6,000. That amount seems awful low from what I see of what needs to be done. That's why I'm asking who did the budget.
We have licensed contractors that have given us an estimate, but it's not just the stucco repair. The house is in need of windows, and as far as to my best of my knowledge, your requirements for the historical committee requirements is that the property be restored as it is original, and these materials are much more expensive than the regular one that you can go buy at Home Depot. In order to restore the house as it is originally, you've got to buy more expensive materials, and the labor cost is also going to be higher.
Yes, I appreciate that, and that's not what I'm questioning. I just thought $6,000 seemed a little bit low for restoring the stucco on the building. That's what I was.
Yes, that is low. Yes, that is low. We've got to get more estimates. We're going to get more estimates.
That's actually based on a direct quote though from a competent worker.
Okay.
I'm sure it's going to cost more because I see where there's quite a bit of repairs that needs to be done to the stucco.
Well, maybe we should see and I apologize if it's here and I've missed it, the quotes from the construction company.
It's you have what's there. I can bring all the quotes together.
Thank you.
You knows you don't.
Any other questions from committee members?
So Mr. Gaby, you did the quotes for Ms.
No,
Jones?
no, I typed them up after we got about 10 different people to do the quotes.
So what's on the screen right now is your summary of
Right.
the quotes that came in from various contractors.
That is correct.
All right, and you'll be getting us some kind of similar breakdown for what needs to be done inside the house. So we can see this as even though we might only be helping with the exterior, we know what's also happening on the interior.
We can do that.
Yes,
Okay, and any other questions? Not seeing any hands up, we move on to the next presentation, which is.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Pardon? Oh, yes. Lamp post restoration by the Colony Hills Neighborhood Association.
Good evening. My name is David Miller, and I'm the president of the Colony Hills Neighborhood Association. As you may know, this neighborhood, which abridges both Longmeadow and Springfield, was begun in 1921, and among its many attributes are the very tastefully done lampposts that were designed as part of the Olmsted Brothers plan. There are 45 lampposts in the combined two neighborhoods, 30 in Longmeadow and 15 in Springfield. We have refurbished many of these, but there are now 6 in Springfield that are in dire need of repair. And unfortunately, all of our funding options have been exhausted. We did have a very generous donor some years ago who was a Longmeadow resident who gave us funds sufficient to do a number. And we've also raised funds from the neighborhood. And doing this repeatedly has, if you could hold that, if you could hold that picture of the map on the screen, I'd appreciate it. And I'll describe this in just a moment. So we've basically run out of funding options, and we're hoping to do the lampposts, which you see as the blue circles there that reside in the Springfield area. And if you look at the map, there's a small island. Again, one of the things that was part of the Olmsted plan in the top left corner to the far left. And that's an island that you had given us funds for several years ago to rehabilitate. And it serves as an excellent entrance point to the neighborhood. We were able to put up a sign there that you commissioned. It just looks great. The problem is that the lampposts that you see there, continuing along the curve, are in not such good condition, and we'd like to rehabilitate those. So that's our plan. We are happy, if you'll show the budget, we're happy to contribute 10% of the cost to move this forward. I have not shown you pictures of all the lampposts because we find out that the picture just does not reveal the many cracks that occur in the structure of the lamppost. Some of these, as you will possibly note from having reviewed the application, once these are sandblasted, which all will be subject to, then we see more cracks than we realize are part of the structure of the lampposts, so that there is a contingency there of about 20%, which I believe to be appropriate, because I think we're going to find more than what the contractor suggested to us would be the cost for the individual lampposts. I've been doing this for about, thank you. I've been doing this for about 10 or 12 years now and have overseen the rehabilitation of about 15 of these. So I have a sense that hopefully we'd be under the $39,000 budget, but I'm fearful that it'll be more than the $36,000 that would be there without the contingency. So I'm happy to entertain any questions. Please feel free.
David, I have a question, which is that in the budget, you talk about 6 replacement poles. So is that all 6 lights would have brand new poles that look like the old pole?
No, if I left you with that impression, it's absolutely incorrect. These poles will all be sandblasted and then repainted. The problem is that the support brackets that hold up the lamp itself are often cracked and broken, as you might have seen from those pictures. So all the poles will be the original poles.
Oh, okay, because it is your budget that uses the word replacement 6 poles. Oh, okay.
Let me look at that. I apologize.
So it's restoration.
We're not replacing them. We're repairing them.
Story. Okay. All right. And the other question I have is just more of a bureaucratic question. Have you requested a determination from the Springfield Historical Commission that these fixtures are a contributing part of his district?
Yes, thank you for asking that question. I went to their meeting last 2 weeks ago, and unfortunately, I couldn't get into the building. And Mr. Allen apologized for my not having gotten in there. So I'm going to go this Thursday to present my request.
Oh, okay. All right. So it would be good to have that. Any other questions from Clinton?
Yes, Mr. Miller, sir. So you'll be able to restore 6 poles for right around $35,000?
Yes. And I can tell you, actually, I was a little surprised because we had a very good contract with a local company called Horizon Sheet Metal, and they would do the entire project, sandblasting, repainting, repairing whatever had to be done, removing and replacing the poles for an average of $4,600. They decided that they couldn't afford to do it for that and refused to do any further for us. So we then have gone to several other contractors. And now, as you can see, we're doing with a company called CAD Designs in Chicopee. I have worked with this company, and I believe their quote is correct. I'm comfortable with that.
Very good. All right, thank you, sir.
And this
Thank you.
company has done previous light fixtures for you, or this would be their first attempt at that?
No, they've done 2 for us previously, and several. The foreman, who was previously at A.G. Miller, who I list as the second to last contractor, while he was at A.G. Miller, he did several for us. Then he moved to CAD Design, so he's very familiar with our process. So and since he's done 2 for us, I'm very comfortable with the quotes that he's given us.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have one more question. How long will it take them to do that once if you were able to acquire the funds, Mr. Miller? How long will it take them to complete that project?
Well, he can do 2 lamp posts at a time, and he can do each 2 will take 2 weeks. So I can get that's why I put down as my timeline, being a little bit more generous and not knowing when the funds would be available. I think between June 1 and September 1 or August 31. I will say that's a very good question, because I'll tell you that we just had a project done by A.G. Miller, and they took 11 months to get 1 pole done. So this guy, though, is very quick, and I trust his statements.
Okay. Any other questions? Very good. Moving on. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next one is the elevator
Thank you.
project by the drama studio. So is Steve Hayes, are you there? Are you presenting?
He was.
You're
Uh,
muted, Steve, if that's Steve Hayes.
Hmm.
Steve, are you there?
Want me to try
Okay.
calling him? Oh, there he is.
So Steve, you're unmuted. Okay.
Okay, here we go. You can hear me all right?
Yes.
All right. We have a project to build an elevator that would service our building that will be historically appropriate and allow us to service a lot of kids and adults that need to have access. So that's one. Two, we would like to have this building appropriate for the building that we designated as a historical property. And three, we have about $140,000 towards this project of about 463,000 to make it possible. So that's my proposal.
Okay. I have a question, Steve. In your budget, you list the Mass Cultural Facilities Fund as the major funder. When will you hear whether or not you're getting funded by them?
June.
Oh, okay.
June 15.
All right. And the other question I have is on the cover of the application, you're looking for $60,000 of CPA funds, but in your budget under proposed income, you're looking for 75,000 of CPA funds. So which is it?
Aren't you perceptive? When we put this budget together, 75,000 was what we needed. Then when we looked at the cost of the project, it was 60,000. So that's why we asked for 60,000.
Okay, so 60,000 is the number. Thank you. So any questions from other committee members? Karen, if you can take down the shared screen so I can see them. So any other, Clinton, you have a question?
Yeah, so thank you, sir. So the Thomas Wilson Enterprises Incorporated proposal, that's what you'll be using?
Yes.
He's able to pull this off for 10,000 for roofing. So you need new roofing along with the elevator.
Yes.
Very good, very good.
And any other questions from committee members? All right, not seeing any hands up, we move on to the next presentation. So thank you, Steve. So the remaining three presentations are all from religious organizations. And we have to be very careful in our dealing with those kinds of requests. There was a court case in Eastern Massachusetts several years ago where the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court struck down a CPA award for a religious organization and set up some rather arcane standards in order to help them. We're trying to work within them. One of the things that we cannot do is help further religious mission. So as you make your presentations to us, do not spend any time talking about the good deeds you do. Talk to us only about the needs of the historic building that you steward. So that being said, the next presentation is for stained glass window restoration at Immaculate Conception Church.
Thank you so much. And I will be presenting that case, Father Peter, as pastor of this parish. And the whole project includes, of course, as was mentioned by Bob, religious and non-religious stained glass windows. We are not asking for any money for religious windows because we're aware of that CPA grants cannot do that for us. We're just asking to help to cover the cost of non-religious. And as Karen is showing, the first page was division on those prices. That on the left corner, we have non-religious that coming to $154,000 and $80. And on the right side, we have religious for $158,000. We're very careful reviewing that. I even took the pictures of those windows, and if any of those had small religious symbol, we're not asking for those. We're asking for windows only they don't have any religious symbols. What we're doing as we speak, we are raising money through the Beacon of Faith Capital campaign to try to come up with the money that are needed for us to restore religious windows. What we're asking from the commission here, we're asking to help us to restore the windows are non-religious, if that will be possible. That means we're fully committed that we're going to do our part on religious, but we need help with non-religious for different reasons. Church is going to celebrate 120th anniversary this September. Second one, as all of the religious communities, we're facing a little bit of the lower numbers of members. A lot of those they supported in the past, they passed away. And with most of the members of my parish, they do live on their low income, basically from check to check. And if we want to preserve whole structure of religious and non-religious windows, we need truly the help from CPA grants, if that would be possible. That's it.
All right, thank you. Any questions from committee members? No, not seeing any questions. Father, let me just ask you, to your knowledge, are these windows all original to when the church was built?
Yes.
And the church was built in what year again?
It's 1904.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we already went to the historical commission for approval for that as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So if there aren't any other questions from committee members, we will move on to the next presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the next presentation is exterior restoration of St. John's Congregational Church.
Karen, am I able to share?
Yes, could you just give me your name so I can change it from the phone number?
Trish Smith. We had to dial in because we're having problems hearing you. So we're on screen as well as on the phone.
I see that. Okay, great. Thank you.
So I have with me Carolyn Ware and Jesse Lanier. And so if there's any questions after the presentation, we'll all be able to address those questions. Starting the presentation, we thought it is really important to talk about the history. Our church is the one that we proposed is we call Legacy, and for significant historic and civic importance. I'll just give you a few points that will be on the screen. We've been in existence for 180 years as a congregation. We'll be celebrating 180 years this November. The Legacy building, it was constructed in 1911 under the leadership of Reverend William Nelson D. Berry. Part of our legacy is the contributions that St. John's has made to the city of Springfield. William N. D. Berry Elementary School was named after Reverend D. Berry. Then there's Rebecca Johnson Elementary School, was named in honor of the first Black principal. She was a member of St. John's. Dunbar Community Center was founded in 1913 by St. John's. We have the Lectern Bible, once owned by the abolitionist John Brown. That's on display in our church. The first pastor of St. John's, Reverend Leonard Collins, once debated Frederick Douglass on the significance of the Black church in the community. And with all of that said, we are a strong, stable pillar in the community, both nationally and locally. Moving on to why it's important for preservation. We want to continue our mission of a congregation of believers through faith, family, and fellowship. By preserving this church, the edifice itself will increase stewardship, and we can continue to provide the resources that we've been providing for the community, educational sessions, seminars. We have a growing children's attendance at our church. So we have children's church and
Excuse me,
summer
I'm
camp.
sorry to interrupt you. I'm the timekeeper. You have 2 minutes and 55 seconds left of the 5
No
minutes
problem.
allotted. So I
Thank
say
you.
this so that you can get to the bones of the restoration.
I'm getting ready to get to the bones. Just give me a moment. I'm aware of the time. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Summer camp, food distribution, hot meals. It's important for me to point out the history and why it's important to preserve. We're moving on to the project itself. Restoration includes phase 1, replacing the roof. And that picture of building A shows that we're in dire need of the roof being replaced. The next slide will show phase 2. And that's just to show the exterior, the front side of the building, another angle on the other side. And then as I go down, that's completely the other side of the rear of the building, and then the Union Street side of the Legacy building itself. And finally, that's the interior, the sanctuary itself, to show you how beautiful the inside of the church has been well maintained over the years. And that's the end of my presentation.
Okay. And do any other members of your team want to add anything in the remaining time?
I don't have anything to add other than what's been said. If you were to drive by down Hancock Street and look at the exterior of the building, you can see that it's in dire need of replacing in terms of painting, the roof. Those are major components and very costly.
Okay. All right, so if the presentation team is done, we can go out of shared screen and back. I guess I just have a question, and then Juanita has one. Mine is on a couple of these estimates, like the one from Adam Quinville. It talks about metal wrap and things that sound as if it's not original material. So just to be aware that if this is a recommended project, all CPA funded projects that deal with historic resources have to follow the Secretary of the Interior standards. We have a consultant who works with us who will look at the actual work program to make sure that all of the component items of the project comply. So that's just a statement. So Juanita, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just a little confused. This money is for both the roof and the shingles, am I right? Even though it's a two-phase?
Phase 1 is the roof.
Right.
And if I read the application correctly, the congregation is covering the roof. Is that correct?
Exactly. That's correct.
So
And
the
phase
money,
2
the money is for just the shingles. I was a little confused when I read it.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And the addition of the additional money that was the second question, it is secured by the congregation.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
thank
right.
you. I learned a lot of history with this application, I have to tell you.
We thought the history was very important.
Yeah. Any other questions from committee members?
I just have a question. Was this before the new building started being built, was any of this considered, or it wasn't in this much disrepair at the time?
It wasn't this much in repair. Based on the winters we've had, I don't know, it seems to be a rapid deterioration of the exterior of the building. This has been like 13 years now.
Are you using the building at all right now?
Excuse me?
You call it the legacy building. Are you using it?
Yes, we are. We use the legacy building. Matter of fact, we had sunrise service in that building on this past Sunday. And down in the kitchen part, we use it every Wednesday to distribute hot meals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
And just as a clarification, this is both for the legacy building, which is the church, and for the community building, which is I'm going to call it what looks like a house that is on Union Street right next to it, correct? Or is this just for the church?
It's just for the church,
Okay.
the legacy building.
Yep.
Right, but you have two buildings. I think that's what Mr. Bob is asking.
Yes,
you have but this is just for the legacy church that's on the corner of Hancock and Union. Has nothing to do with the newer looking building.
That's correct.
Okay.
But I have a question. But what about the house behind it? The girls' workhouse, I think it's called the DeBerry House now, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So that would be shingled as well?
No, we're just concentrating on the legacy building now.
Okay.
If we get this, we'll be back for that building. We'll be back for the DeBerry building.
Okay.
Good thinking.
Any other questions from committee members? All right. Not seeing any hands up. Thank you very much. And we move to the next presentation.
Thank you.
But I've not seen the person for that here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Karen, do we know what the situation is with the Lighthouse Church proposal?
I do not know. I didn't get any message that they wouldn't attend, so.
Okay, well, I guess that ends our presentation for tonight. We now move into our regular business of the committee. And just for those folks that are still here who had made presentations, we will at our next meeting start actually discussing among ourselves the projects and start prioritizing them for the purposes of recommendations. I would anticipate it will take up to 4 meetings for us to finalize our recommendations. And obviously part of that is hearing from the comptroller as to how much money we have that we can recommend. All right,
Okay.
so the next item is the approval of the minutes. Karen sent them out. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay.
Second,
All right, so we'll do the vote. Juanita,
Yes.
Rhonda. You're muted, Rhonda, but I saw your lips move yes, so we're counting you. Clinton,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Gloria,
yes.
Judy. You're muted, Judy. All right, Yolanda
Yes.
and Bob is yes. So I guess we'll put Judy as an abstain because she's not clicking in. The next item on the agenda is to terminate a contract with the female seminary at 77 Maple Street, which was a project that we recommended several years ago by Develop Springfield. And they have sold the building to another party. And obviously CPA commitments do not transfer to new parties. And so what we need to do is to have a motion that formally terminates the contract.
So moved.
All right, any discussion on that? So hearing none, we'll have a vote. Juanita? Juanita, we saw her mouth, yes, okay. Rhonda?
Yes.
Clinton?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Gloria?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Yolanda?
Yes.
And Bob is yes. So Karen, if you would write a letter, not just an email, to whomever it was the contact person at whatever was the address for Develop Springfield, and basically say to them, we understand that the building has been sold, that CPA contracts are not transferable, that we have terminated our contract with them, and that the new owner certainly it can reapply to us in the 2025 funding cycle.
Okay.
That would be good. So Karen's just put up the actual copy of the deed that shows that the building is no longer owned by Develop Springfield.
Is that to say the money comes back to our budget as well?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It will go back into whichever pot it came out of. And just as a reminder to everyone, we have a housing pot, a historic pot, an open space recreation pot, and an uncommitted pot. And so it will go back either to the historic pot or to the uncommitted pot. Karen, we're not in any huge rush. So my suggestion is wait till our next, wait a month. Give them a month to see if they have any response to us. and then contact the comptroller's office to ask them to terminate to put the money back into the appropriate pot.
Did we just say how much? Did I miss that? How
No,
much
we
was
didn't.
it?
It was $100,000 commitment that we gave them.
Okay.
And Karen, just for curiosity, when is the last time that they actually communicated with you?
It wasn't too long ago. I want to say it was probably January or February, and they were having this in the works, but they're they were trying to work out if they could transfer the funds and the CPA funds, and so I think that answers your question.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
wasn't this a preservation trust property at one time?
At one time, the Springfield Preservation Trust, Inc. owned this property, had done fundraising and put in about $250,000 of stabilization money.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
then the trust realized that it didn't have the wherewithal to finish the rehabilitation and sold it at the price that they bought it for, not for what they put into it, just for what they bought it for originally, to Develop Springfield. Develop Springfield had successfully fixed up the adjoining house at 83 Maple. That's the house on the corner of Union with the big columns.
Yep.
And so their plan, Develop Springfield's plan, was to renovate this for, I'm going to call it shared office space. And they had a significant federal grant to help them do it. And then COVID came and shared spaces were not very popular. And Develop Springfield has divested itself of everything, not just this building. They've sold 83 Maple Street with it, as well as those garages that are behind it. So we wish the new owner well, but our money does not automatically flow to them.
Got it.
All right. So the next item on the agenda is our contract with the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission for preservation services. Karen, where are we with that?
We're no closer, actually, than we were 2 weeks ago. We're still waiting for an agreement with the preservation planner to be executed. The committee again could vote to reduce the insurance limits tonight, and we could at least get this contract up and running. But it's a bigger picture. Our contract is going to be one of many in the city. So I don't even know how to advise here. It's very frustrating.
Do you think it might be resolved by our next meeting? Are people working on resolving it beyond us?
Yes. From what I understand, the comptroller informed us that the law department is working on it, but that was a couple weeks ago. I haven't spoken with Attorney Moore since. And the preservation director, PVPA director, she's looking at the insurance piece again. So I feel like people are just pushing this from place to place and no one wants to own it. I mean, that's
I wonder why that is.
I don't know, Clinton. I don't know.
Well, why don't we wait another couple of weeks and see if it gets resolved? I'm not sure that's going to happen, but I'd hate to put something in place and then have something different be decided.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there is one thing that is the big question. So on most insurance policies, any of the insurances that we've worked with, there's like an umbrella, or the additional insured is like an endorsement that most companies have. Like most all companies have that in their insurance plan, and they pay a little extra for that. And it covers them for every work that they have done at different places. But for some strange reason, Pioneer Valley Planning Commission doesn't have that endorsement. And it's a company that caters to municipal departments or municipal bodies or public firms. So why? I don't know. That's the question I asked. So the simple solution is for Pioneer Valley to put that endorsement on their policy, and that would cover any contract that they have. I don't know why they're saying it's going to be 500 per contract when that's way more than an endorsement cost. So that's the piece that's not making sense. I spoke with procurement, and this is the first time they've ever heard of this either. They always have that blanket endorsement on all policies that come through her office. So someone's just not understanding what the problem is, so they're pushing it around for someone else to figure out. Anyway, I don't know if any of that made sense. It's just been frustrating to work with something that it's so low risk that there should not even be this amount of time that was spent on it.
Very true.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm with Gloria. Let's wait another 2 weeks, and if it's not resolved by then, perhaps we need to then actually vote to lower the limits. It would be nice if PVPC does whatever's needed that makes the law department, which is always looking out to protect the city, comfortable. All right. Karen, any administrator updates?
I'm looking. No, I mean, we could talk about Abbey Brook. I don't know. Do you want to do that?
Well, I guess, how is the new conservation staff person doing in terms of looking at the broad state template of what can be protected and restricted, and honing that down to an agreement?
So right now, he's working on it. Again, he's new. He's been getting some help with it. The restrictions are pretty much what most of our restrictions are. He's just seeking some help in putting it together, the whole thing. And I spoke to him the other day, and he's now finished up another project he had, and he's putting his whole self into this. So my guess is that, I don't know, this week, I'm going to check with him again at the end of this week. But it's going to happen.
Okay. All right. So I guess, Karen, if you don't have anything else, the next step is when we meet in 2 weeks is when you come in with your top 8 projects. Once again, it doesn't have to be in any order. It's just your top 8. Karen has come up with a Google vote that you can send in ahead of time. So Karen, why don't you talk about that?
Yeah. Okay, let me do that. Put a link. Here we go. All right, so let me share this screen so you can see it.
And while she's doing that, let me just remind everyone that this is simply to get an idea of the lay of the land. At the next meeting, we will talk about every single one of the projects from top to bottom, but we will start with those projects that showed up on more people's top 8 list and go through all of the ones, including the ones that showed up on nobody's. This is only our beginning internal discussion. And from that, the following meeting is when we actually start voting on recommendations. And I would see us taking 2, if not 3 meetings as we work our way through the list until we either run out of money to recommend or run out of projects that we feel comfortable recommending.
Bob, when will we know how much the city, how much we'll be getting?
Well, we have our budget, Juanita, but
Yeah,
I
but-
will be in touch with the comptroller. It's certainly in early May to get his estimate as to what we have that we can recommend.
Right, because sometimes that's always, we know what our budget is, but that's sometimes a little bit more.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, we will start voting at our first meeting in May, and I would hope that by then we can have advice from the comptroller. One of the things by our moving up the program is that there's still money coming in through the end of June that it's not significant, but we will, we don't know what that will be. So we'll be looking at his best guess. And then we have, whatever has come back to us from projects that have closed out and were under budget. That money comes back to us. This contract that we just terminated, that money will come back to us, and the comptroller can give us his best guess as to how much we have.
Okay, so real quickly, you'll get you'll get a email notice, basically, that's all that is. And it will give you a form to fill out, so you would click, hold on. Click the form, go to the form. I'm trying to do too big. Okay, there we go. All right. Now you see the form, right? It's very simple. There is a place for your email so that you can get a copy of this form back, so you know which projects that you selected. And if you want to edit or change any, we can do it at the next meeting. So you put, all right. So I'm gonna just put my name in here. Sorry, should have probably populated that. All right, next. All right, right here is a drop-down menu. Just find your name. And I put my name in here as a temporary so that I could get through this screen. Then you go into the next. So you select one of 8. This is a slider that has all 32 blocks here.
Karen, I'm not seeing any.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't see
I'm
it.
all seeing something that it says Google Forms. And then on the far left, it has Charlene Diaz and Shannon Walsh. So it looks like it's got some emails from you.
Oh my goodness, that's the wrong thing you've been looking at.
Yeah.
I thought it was me. I said to myself, I have to call Karen in the morning.
Well, the good thing about this, folks, though, is this is simply to save us a little time at the next meeting. So we're not all going through the Excel spreadsheet and saying to Karen, here's my first project, here's my second project, here's my third project.
Okay, here we go.
And so anyone who's tech challenged like I am, if you can't do this form, we will do it live when we meet at the very next meeting in 2 weeks. But now we have
everybody can do that. This is real simple. It's right. So here's the page. You would type in your email address in order to have the form automatically sent to you, so you can get a confirmation of what projects that you selected. Then you select your name from the list. And I'll just select mine just so I can move to the next street. And then right here, there are all these blocks, and they're a little bit abbreviated, but you can see which blocks they are. And I'll just mark 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Can I come by?
And then, what's that? Okay.
No, not one of these. I always get these wrong.
So do I.
Let's
You're
see,
doing
if did
twice-
I get them right? No.
Two or three
Oh,
times.
my-
No,
Donna.
it doesn't have bicycles in
I never get the traffic light.
Oh, come on now. They're motorcycles. This is a motorcycle, or is this called
Yes.
something else?
No.
I don't know. You got to click it all on? What is
Yes,
this?
yes. No, you didn't click.
You didn't
it.
get
You
a
didn't click this. Oh,
You have to click every single box that has part of a motorcycle.
Like there, yeah, those two there.
so there's 4 there.
1, 2.
Go
there-
over.
Oh, I got the wheel there. The
One
wheels,
there.
Right.
wheels over there.
Yes,
It's a
click
wheel.
that.
4, and then
Those
there's
two.
up above, there's 2
No,
more.
no.
Yes, that, yeah, that.
And go over.
Yeah, you have to go
Over to the
Karen.
left.
Okay, this is like, I did not
No, there's
expect
one
this.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hate
Oh, no.
these.
Oh, wait, no, those are like,
No.
those are. Oh my goodness. Please try again.
It's the most fun we've had in a long time.
All right, go down
This
to
is
the
it. This could be
bottom.
it. This could be it.
That
I
one.
think that's it. I think
That's
that's
a
it.
I want to do the shadow.
Do
shadow.
it
though.
anyway.
That's
Okay,
just.
there's a little kickstand there. Oh,
Ah, see? You should have listened.
This is unbelievable.
No, one more. You have to
the
go to the
exhaust pipe,
tailpipe.
exhaust pipe, exhaust
The
pipe. There you go.
exhaust pipe, yeah.
All right, now you, oh, yeah. Oh, then the guy, the driver, I guess.
You got to get the driver too.
Okay, so
Can we just eliminate this thing? Do we have to have this on it? Oh,
And
my
Yeah.
one
goodness.
at the bottom.
Well,
while
there's
I
one-
was testing this afternoon, this never came up. Never.
Do
So
one at
I-
the bottom, left
Karen
bottom.
at the bottom.
There, now try it.
No more motorcycles hidden in here.
No.
No, no.
Oh, you should be good.
Oh,
Yay!
Yay!
Okay, so then, yeah, just hear that on my email. It just arrived. So it will give you a, stop sharing this.
So you will send us an email with that first cover, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And call me if you have any issue with it. I'm
And-
sure you will. It's
And
very
the
simple.
responses will only come to you, Karen.
Correct.
Correct. That and the person who sent it, because we need to make sure that we're not violating the open meeting law by letting.
That's
people
right.
know that.
So I deselected those options.
Yeah.
And
So
we all
the
know
only-
now how many bicycles we have to do, so we should be
it's so
fine.
And
Be
once
good.
again, if by some chance you can't do it, or even you change your mind, we can just alter it when we actually will be working with the Excel spreadsheet at the following meeting.
wanted to mention one thing, Bob, about the row houses.
Yeah.
Do you want to take that?
Yeah,
or-
so what Karen has done is she has collapsed the 2 city-owned ones into one thing that you can put on your list. And she's collapsed the 4 privately owned ones into one option. We can discuss them if there are people that, once we start talking about them, if there are people that strongly feel that they need to be talked of individually, we can discuss that then. But for the purposes of this, where they have been collapsed into 2 projects as opposed to 6 projects.
There's a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, I say it every time, but there's a lot of good stuff.
we've had a lot of good projects, and clearly this year we've had a lot of projects that have asked for a lot of money, you know. And so, you know, if indeed we have around 250, 2,500,000 to give out, you know, there will be at least 8 projects. Usually because not everyone has asked for full funding, not everyone gets full funding. You know, we may be up to our usual 15 projects get funded. The other thing just to keep in mind is we had no community housing applications this year. We still have to reserve 10% of our budget for community housing. So if indeed, let's say the comptroller says, yep, we got 2,500,000, 10% of that, 250,000 gets set aside to be used in future projects for that.
Oh, we got another 100,000 tonight too. So now we have 2,600,000.
Well, yeah.
There you go.
Bob, do you have any idea why they didn't submit anything for community housing?
No, I have no idea. I mean, nothing came in from the Office of Housing or the Office of Emergency Disaster Recovery, because they're the city groups that apply, and nothing came in from any of the nonprofits who normally have applied to us. So
they pushed that they had to have an increase and we had to be doing more community housing, and then
They were pushing, yeah.
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Absolutely.
And I think certainly, you know, Karen, in terms of publicizing our application cycles, does an excellent job of all the community groups that she reaches out to. So there's no telling why we don't get applications that we think we should be getting. But we've got more than we can fund this year, that's for sure.
Yep.
All right, so unless someone has something else, we'll see everyone in 2 weeks, and I'll have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, wave your hand or say aye. And
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much. Very
Good job, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.
I like your hair, Rhonda.